Hey everybody, this is TJR. The cover for the album Nevermind by Nirvana is probably one of the most iconic rock album covers of all time. And a few days ago, the story broke that Spencer Eldon, who was the baby on the cover and is now, of course, an adult 30 years old, is suing the band and suing their record label. Now, before I talk about this, I want to just read from an article reporting this story in Pitchfork. Let me just read the following for you here. Nirvana's surviving members and the estate of Kurt Cobain have been sued by Spencer Eldon, who appeared as a baby on the cover of 1991's Nevermind. Eldon claims the band violated federal child pornography statutes and argues child sexual exploitation. In a lawsuit that also named photographer Kirk Weddle and the labels behind the album's release, Eldon claims he has suffered lifelong damages and says his legal guardians never signed a release authorizing the use of any images of Spencer or of his likeness, and certainly not for commercial child pornography depicting him. So the first thing that I asked myself when I read this story is, how does this image qualify as child pornography? Think about that for a moment while I read more of the article here. He's also suing for distribution of private sexually explicit materials, negligence, and what's described as a sex trafficking venture where Eldon was forced to engage in commercial sexual acts while under the age of 18 years old. So now I have to ask, what commercial sexual acts was he forced to take part in? Is he saying that the album cover image portrays him in a sexual act? Because it doesn't. Being naked in the water is, in and of itself, not a sexual act. Is he saying that by nature of the fact that he is naked on this cover, that this by definition makes it pornography? Because if he is, there are a lot of paintings of baby Jesus hanging in museums right now that would also have to be considered pornography as well. Now, in my experience, I have discovered that human beings are certainly capable of sexualizing just about anything. There are human beings who can sexualize the image of a goat, but that does not make any picture of a goat some sort of animal pornography. And do we ban all pictures of goats because of it? And as I think more about this lawsuit, I am not sure how Spencer Eldon's lawyer or lawyers intend to prove this. And to be honest, I'm not even certain that that is what they really are intending to do. Now, maybe I'm giving him too much credit, but I think that perhaps Spencer Eldon himself doesn't really consider the Nevermind cover to be child pornography any more than Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy cover. In his 2016 interview with Time, Spencer Eldon was already expressing frustration over the album cover. And I'm going to quote from the article. Frustrated about never receiving any sort of compensation for Nevermind, Eldon recently looked into pursuing legal action against Geffen Records, but was unsuccessful. It's hard not to get upset when you hear how much money was involved, he says. Nevermind has sold over 30 million copies worldwide. When I go to a baseball game and think about it, man, everybody at this baseball game has probably seen my little baby penis. I feel like I got a part of my human rights revoked, says Eldon. So first off, I would say, I doubt that anybody recognizes the adult Spencer Eldon from his baby picture. But let's focus on the money that has been made from this image. Now, Spencer Eldon has gone on record stating that he has reached out to the band Nirvana, but has been unsuccessful. With this in mind, if his lawsuit was framed as, well, the band, their estates, and their label have made millions off of my likeness. I was too young to give consent, and my parents signed no release. I was taken advantage of, and they used my image to sell albums, t-shirts, puzzles, mugs, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Ethically speaking, shouldn't I be entitled to some of this? Someone, meaning the band and their label, from their side needs to come forward and do the right thing. Now, this is not what he has said. This is what I think he should say. If he framed it like this, I think he would have garnered a lot of public support. But calling this pornography when it clearly isn't is just going to spark what I feel will be a huge backlash against him. And no, I haven't looked at any online reaction to this story. I really don't want to get caught up in that, and I really don't want to let that cloud how I evaluate this topic. But knowing the internet, I can only imagine that it's going to mostly incite angry and reactionary responses. And to be honest, some of that anger isn't completely unjustified. Now, last night, prior to filming this video, Superfan and I discussed this story. And there were two things that really bothered us about this as we talked about it. Number one, the potential chilling effect that a case like this could have on artistic expression. The two of us in our lifetime have visited quite a number of art museums. And in our visits, we have seen a lot of paintings and photography that features nudity. And nudity does not necessarily equate to pornography. But in this lawsuit, that's what he is saying. So I'm really bothered by the chilling effect that this could have on artistic expression. Also, Superfan was the first to bring this topic up. And she was very bothered by how this lawsuit trivializes and takes away from real victims of child pornography and abuse. Now, if you go online, you will find numerous articles that detail the story behind this photo shoot for the album cover. And none of them indicate in any way that anyone was taking part in child pornography. Furthermore, there are interviews with Spencer Eldon himself, where he states that his father, who was there, was a lifeguard and knew what he was doing, and that he was not in any danger of any kind of physical harm either. And when I read that statement, that's what makes me think that he doesn't really intend to win this case, and neither do his lawyers. And I say this because in his 2016 interview with Time, Spencer Eldon admitted to recently looking into pursuing legal action against Geffen Records, but that he was unsuccessful, which to my mind means he consulted a lawyer, but was advised against it because he would more than likely not win or even have the opportunity to settle out of court. But I think that either the same lawyer or a different lawyer told him, you could try framing this as child porn, and you probably still won't win, but the label and the band are more than likely going to be willing to settle out of court just to make you go away. You'll probably be hated by the internet public, but you'll take home a nice enough payday to not have to worry about the bills for the better part of your life. Now, during my conversation last night with Superfan about this story, I brought this subject up, and she responded with, well, however they choose to settle, I hope the band is able to include a restriction stating that Spencer Eldon is never allowed to talk about the cover shoot for the rest of his life, therefore barring him from ever taking part in any other anniversary celebrations of this album. And that's the other thing that I really need to bring up. Throughout his lifetime, Spencer Eldon has taken part in anniversary celebrations for this album. He has given interviews to publications like Time and Esquire. He has recreated the cover for photographers. I assume he didn't do any of this for free. I assume he got paid. And if he didn't get paid, he at the very least raised his public profile and promoted his brand. And on one of these articles, there was a link to a video interview with him that was on Vimeo that I watched, where he was talking about the cover, but he was also promoting his brand. He was promoting his art, and he was being very open about this. He said, the whole reason why I'm here is because I want to sell my skateboard designs, and I hope that some of you out there will buy them. And he joked, I'm really broke, so I hope you can buy some of this from me.
I love the skateboard, and I hope you guys come to my website thing and buy one of my prints. That's what I really want. I'm trying to make some money, I'm broke.
So I kind of have the feeling that Spencer himself doesn't really see this as child pornography, knows that it isn't child pornography, but he sees this as the only way that he can get cash out of the band and out of their record label. Of course, it's also possible that I'm just giving him too much credit. He has clearly been simmering over this for some time now. And it could be that we're looking at a man who has been over the years slowly suffering a breakdown over this whole situation for decades now. And an unscrupulous attorney is taking advantage of his current mental state. This is certainly a possibility. But either way, I don't think the cover to Nevermind is child pornography any more than the cover to Led Zeppelin's Houses of the Holy. And also, I don't think that his lawyer or lawyers feel they can prove that the Nirvana Nevermind album cover is pornography. I think that their hoped for outcome is not to win so much as to just settle out of court for a fat payday. But let me know what you think. Take some time to read the story in full. I'll link to the Pitchfork article that I quoted from here, and let me know what you think. This is a sensitive subject matter, so please keep your comments civil. As always, if you like what I do here, be sure to click like, click subscribe, and smash the bell notification icon. And if you'd like to help me make more videos, please consider becoming a patron supporter. And if you can't be a patron supporter, you can show your support by just clicking like or sharing these videos on your social media. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. It'll be interesting to see what happens with this story. And I hope you all stay safe and healthy. Bye-bye.